Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of the end times. Yesterday's agreement in Geneva between Iran and the world's major powers is perhaps the last warning from Almighty God to the nation of Israel. Why is God warning Israel? Because Israel has abandoned God. Israel has adopted all of the decadence of the West. And now the West, in return, has stabbed Israel right in the back. There is only one hope for Israel now, and that is to return to the law of Moses. In the past few years, Israel has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to promote Tel Aviv as the gay capital of the world. Have you forgotten that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? Don't you understand the covenant Daniel talks about in chapter 9, verses 11 and 12? In that covenant, Daniel prophesies that in these end times, Israel will abandon the God of Moses. They will abandon the laws of the Torah. And now you are trying to resurrect Sodom and Gomorrah. God is going to fulfill that covenant. And he promised that if Israel forgets the laws of Moses, you will be ruled by your enemies. And now I would like to comment on what Benjamin Netanyahu stated last night about this Iran agreement.
What was concluded in Geneva last night is not a historic agreement. It's a historic mistake. It's not made the world a safer place. Like the agreement with North Korea in 2005, this agreement has made the world a much more dangerous place.
I agree with you, Prime Minister Netanyahu. This agreement is a historical mistake. But perhaps Israel can learn from this warning, because this is a warning from Almighty God, perhaps the last one. If you understand the prophecies of Daniel, you would know from his chapter number 9 that the prince of Persia will destroy Jerusalem. Please, please, please do not listen to the false prophets who say that events in the Middle East are leading up to the Ezekiel 38 war. I hope this agreement makes it clear to you and the rest of the nation of Israel that events in the Middle East are leading up to the Daniel 9 war.
So the pressures on Iran are being lifted, they're being eased. And with the lifting of this pressure, this first step could very well be the last step.
Again, I agree with you, Mr. Prime Minister. This agreement from the international community is setting Israel adrift. God is warning you that you must now go it alone. Your only hope is to return to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You must follow the laws of Moses. You cannot try and resurrect Sodom and Gomorrah, or you too will be burned with fire.
So Israel is not bound by this agreement. We cannot and will not allow a regime that calls for the destruction of Israel to obtain the means to achieve this goal. We will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapons capability.
Mr. Netanyahu, in the weeks and months ahead, it will become increasingly clear that the power Israel must deal with in the Middle East is Russia. And I know you understand that. That's why you went to Russia this past week and not to the United States. In the great chessboard of the Middle East, the last king of the north Vladimir Putin, has outplayed the last king of the South, Barack Obama, at every move. I know you can see the writing on the wall. The last two she-bears that come out of the woods to maul Israel in these end times are Russia and Iran.
It's my solemn responsibility to protect and defend the one and only Jewish state.
Now I have to disagree with you, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Israel is no longer a Jewish state. If you were, you would never promote Tel Aviv as the gay capital of the world. As Daniel prophesies in 9 verses 11 and 12, you have transgressed the laws of Moses. In verses 16 and 17, Daniel laments the destruction of Jerusalem. And in Daniel 9:26 and 27, he prophesies that the prince of Persia will destroy Jerusalem in these end times. You also need to read verses 26 and 27 very, very carefully. Because when Daniel says that the anointed one will be cut off in these end times, he is referring to the prime minister of Israel. And that would be you, Mr. Netanyahu. Israel will go through a great tribulation, just as prophesied by Daniel.